So Michigan State played a game against Penn State, and I will give full disclosure, okay? Now, to be fair, a lot of these games that I talk about, I don't watch some of them because I'm physically unable to. I watch as many of the games as I possibly can. I'll always watch the games of the teams that I primarily cover. I'll always watch the Lions. I mean, there's proof that I'm watching the Lions games. I'll always watch the Lions games. I'll always watch Michigan State. However, this game I did not watch. And this was not because I wouldn't have watched it. I probably would have watched it, but I was out of town, so I didn't want to watch it. And I didn't watch a single minute of this game. I saw no highlights, and mostly because there were no highlights. We lost like 42-0, I think it was, something like that. I just said, you know what, the season was over. I'm glad we got a road win. I'm glad we beat Nebraska at home on homecoming. But I was just sort of done with this team. Once Mel Tucker was fired and the whole thing, the Washington game happened, I said, you know what? This team stinks. We're bad. It's not going to work out. Things are just going to go bad. So, yeah, as it turns out, we managed to get worse from last year, which is quite the achievement because I didn't think we could get worse. But lo and behold, when things can go wrong, they do go wrong in East Lansing, apparently. But that's not even really the news I want to talk about with Michigan State. Whatever. They lose a football game. Who cares? They were terrible. Big news is Michigan State has hired Jonathan Smith, the former Oregon State head coach, to be their new head coach. Now, he was just shown earlier in the game at the Breslin Center, where Michigan State plays basketball, gave a little speech. I remember Mel Tucker did a similar thing when he was hired. Look, as far as like home run hires, I think this is like a really good hire. I think everybody that I've heard, that I've read, this is a pretty good guy. This is a guy. Okay, here's a few of my takeaways. Number one, he's an offensive guy. He is former quarterback. He was former OC at Washington, Montana. He's been a QB coach at Iowa, Boise, and Idaho. I was like combining the two. I really had to like stop and be like, okay, focus. Boise State QB coach and Idaho QB coach. And he's got experience coaching offenses. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience coaching defenses, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get his DC that he had back in Oregon State. That DC is gonna end up being their head coach in the Pac-2, I guess. But the other thing I wanted to talk about outside of it, I think it's a good hire. We'll see how it actually works out. I think the offense, having an offensive-minded coach, I think that means that we're not going to have the anemic offenses run by Jay Johnson, which is a vast improvement. But defense was also a major concern. I mean, we were consistently very bad on defense. Now, again, this year we technically we're better at stopping the run, but we were always getting diced up in the passing game. We really never had any pressure. I think we might have had some sacks. I don't even know, but it was terrible. It was terrible. He's got a lot of things to fix. Hopefully he can hit on his defensive coordinator. Because like I said, I think I've said this before, the coordinators to me, if you hit on those, if you have smart DC if you have a smart DC and a smart OC, that is going to be more of a measurement of your success as a program. Because the head coach, as I've talked about, is not as integral in the actual in-game stuff as the coordinators are. The coordinators, if you're doing your job right, probably are making the play calls. You, the head coach, are doing a lot more. Obviously, you're bringing in the players, you're assembling the team, you're figuring it out, you're hiring the staff. You're a CEO, and you're doing some of the in-game management, timeouts, challenges, etc. Game on the line, final decision has to be made. You say you give the okay, essentially. But either way, I think we went out and we got a guy that is respected, that has turned a program in Oregon State. He's turned it into a top 25 program. And given the fact that we're going to have this expanded Big Ten, and given the fact that we're going to have the expanded playoff, I think this could benefit us. I think this could be a good change of pace. I mean, he certainly has a better resume than Mel Tucker did. But resumes are resumes. They don't necessarily tell you what you're going to get. So hopefully it works out. But, I mean, they really got to nail this. Okay, Jonathan Smith really has to do a good job. But speaking of doing good job, here's the thing. So I made this note in the show sheet of who do you even want to keep? And I was just sort of thinking initially, and it's like, okay, I kind of like some of our wide receivers. I like Montori Foster Jr. He made some nice catches. I don't think Malik Carr is old enough, or I think he's too old, I should say. He was okay. Nathan Carter, I liked. I never had a problem with Nathan Carter this season. I thought he was, unfortunately, he's been out in bad offense, but I like Nathan Carter. Thought he was a good player. On the defense, I don't know. I don't even know. But the thing is, literally, as of either yesterday or today, every single one of our quarterbacks has entered the transfer portal. That's Caden Hauser, Sam Levitt, or I think it's Sean Levitt. I don't even know. Sam, Sean, Steve, whatever. Levitt, he stunk, so whatever. And Noah Kim. All three have entered the transfer portal. Now, my thinking is, okay, where do they expect to go? I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Like, Caden Hauser, he showed some flashes, and he's young. I think you put him in a smaller program, I think he could have some success, especially if you put him in a good OC. I think he could have some success. Now, as far as Noah Kim is concerned, no, I don't think he's going to have success anywhere. I think maybe if he goes to Toledo or Western Michigan, yeah, sure, maybe he could be a decent quarterback there, but nowhere in a respectable college football program is Noah Kim doing well. Noah Kim is going to be a senior. What is he? What kind of tape does he think he's going to put on? Look, go for it, Noah. If you want to find a better place, go for it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the person. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. All I'm saying is you weren't all that good in a bad scheme and on the team, right? So you're probably not going anywhere bigger, I guess. But hey, maybe we'll see. But outside of that, not a whole lot to talk about Michigan State-wise. At this point, we're just on recruit and transfer watch. We're going to need to replace that quarterback. I want to say DJ Ungalalele, the quarterback at Oregon State, I want to say he still has a year of eligibility. I could be wrong on that, but if he still has a year of eligibility, I mean, probably rather take him. And obviously Jonathan Smith has a relationship with him, so I wouldn't be opposed to having him be the quarterback. But I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely going to be some transfer portal stuff for sure. That's it. Stuff. Okay, stuff. It's not great, and Jonathan Smith's got his work cut out for him. But I think a couple of years times, I think Michigan State could be back where they should be, which is a competitive, tough football program, top 25 football program. That's what I'm looking for. And ultimately, I'm looking for national championships. And I know that seems so ridiculous, but you know what? Not to go on too big of a rant, okay? Auburn has won a national championship in my lifetime. Clemson has won multiple national championships in my lifetime. Florida. Florida is a laughingstock of a program right now, but they won national championships, or they won at least one national championship in my lifetime. You don't have to be Alabama or Georgia or heck, even LSU. They went through a spurt of bad football. The idea that Michigan State specifically, it seems like I don't know if this is necessarily just me not hearing enough people talk about Michigan State, but it seems to me that especially from some Michigan fans, it's Michigan State competing for a national. What a joke! They could never win a national championship. It's Auburn. Clemson, all these other schools that quote unquote never could win. It's especially now with the way transfer portal and NIL works. And right now, just looking at teams, it's you can have Washington this year win the national championship. I mean, hey, the Michigan hasn't won since '97. It's not like it's just basically you have to be Georgia or Alabama or from the SEC generally to win a national championship. I mean, even using Georgia, right? Before 2021, Georgia was always the team that would, they build up good and then they just lose to Alabama in the SEC championship, or they wouldn't make the play. And growing up, that was my Georgia. Now Georgia is just this behemoth, and it can flip like that. I don't know. That snap was not very good. It can flip like that. That was a good snap. If you do it right, it can work. That's all I'm saying. Hey there, what you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.